Students, we're back to discussing the Stoics, and we're going to be discussing Seneca in particular for a good amount of time and a little bit on Marcus Aurelius. Okay, all right. So I want to talk about Seneca's life, yeah. First, he's born in 8 BCE and lived to 65 CE. He lived just long enough to kill himself. He was forced by the emperor to kill himself because it was thought that he was in on an assassination attempt. Some scholars would have you believe that he was not in on it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you either way. Now, he was born in Cordoba, Spain, and he was well connected, and he ended up becoming the tutor to Emperor Nero. He was exiled first in 41 to Corsica, and then later on, instead of being exiled again, he was forced to kill himself. He was exiled because purportedly he had an affair with somebody, with another aristocrat, and this did not go over well. His alignment, this might be the first morally evil person we have, and I hate to say that, but he's, let me just give you one of the things that he did that made him super rich. Okay, and again, part of the reason that is morally questionable is the tactics that he used, but also the hypocrisy, the deep hypocrisy between what he's saying people should be and the way he's behaving. So how did he get super rich? He was a loan shark. Basically, he found a way to loan money to people who were deeply in need, and then he extracted exorbitant fees for those loans. And that's how he became wealthy. He, in fact, may have destabilized England, right, Great Britain at the time, so much that it caused Boudicca's rebellion. Yeah, squeezing money out of people only lasts as long as they can be squeezed. So yeah, so it's a little bit about Seneca the Younger. Right now, they have recently done some underwater archaeology, and they think they've actually found Seneca's spa. So his personal baths. So that's how rich the dude was. We'll classify him as a bard. Why? Well, he was a tutor, so he did teach, he did loan money, but he's best known for his plays. So he wrote a bunch of plays. He's very well known for that. So let's give him a +3 for rhetoric. Let's give him the wealthiest. The only person I think wealthier in the history of philosophy might be, I guess, Emperor Marcus Aurelius might be considered wealthier. I'm not even sure. And Wittgenstein, when his dad died, maybe the wealthier. Okay, so here we go. And if you have any other ideas, if you were here with me, I'd love you to throw them out to me. But yeah, one of the wealthiest philosophers ever. Constitution, we're going to give him a -2. This dude was weak. He was sickly. Yeah. So not a good constitution. Though we will give him credit for killing himself stoically. When told that he had to commit suicide, his wife was very upset, but he was very, he just accepted it and did it. So we're going to look at his analysis of emotions sometimes, and in particular, we're going to not look at all of them, but we're going to look particularly at anger. We want to compare this to Aristotle, who views anger as both a natural emotion and a necessary one for certain situations. So what does Seneca say about anger? Well, Seneca compares man's social nature with man in a state of anger. Okay, so let's look at these different things. So man is born as a social creature. Okay, I want you to really think about this for a second. When you're born, I mean, there are some other mammals that live as close and as long with their family in their development as humans, but not many of them. I'm thinking of elephants and right whales. So we're born for mutual assistance, meaning we're born to take care of our children and to be taken care of, to live in society, and to live mutually assisting one another. Anger, on the other hand, is created for mutual ruin. Anger drags everybody down. Man's social nature, he loves society, loves being with people. Anger makes man love estrangement. Man's social nature loves to do good. Man in a state of anger loves to do harm. Social helps even strangers, ready to sacrifice itself for the good of others, and peaceful. In anger, attacks even its dearest friends, plunges us into peril, provided it drags others with it, and eager to punish. So human life, for the Stoics, is founded on the benefits and harmony of being a social being, and is bound together into an alliance for the common help of all, not by terror, but by love towards one another. So I want you to think about this. Human nature for the Stoics is good, is bound to the good, and it's made for the good. It's made to be good to others and to mutually benefit others. One should eliminate anger because it does not concord with what is truly good for humanity and what is good within humanity. Anger is the worst, according to Seneca. It is equally devoid of self-control, forgetful of decency, unmindful of ties, persistent and diligent in whatever it begins, closed to reason and counsel, excited by trifling causes, unfit to discern the right and the true. Okay. To be angry is to be devoid of self-control. I want you to think about anger as being the most, the least self-controlled emotion. There's no other emotion that is forgetful of human decency, that treats other humans in a way that is indecent. It's closed to reasoning. It is itself an irrational reaction to things that occur. Okay, the natural world, bad things occur. Okay, and it's natural to react angrily, but it's not rational. So it's not to the highest standards of human reasoning. We can reason better than that. So, according to Seneca, one should eliminate anger because it is irrational, like madness. It leads to wicked acts. By not letting anger in, you'll not regret doing things out of anger rashly. It ignores the common humanity within all of us. Instead of looking at other human beings as the same and similar and like brothers or sisters in the natural world, it looks at others as enemies, as different, as other. Quote, no plague has cost the human race more dear. Okay, so now I want you to reflect upon this. Do you agree with Aristotle that anger is natural and helpful and important and valuable? Or do you agree with Seneca that it's devoid of self-control, forgetful of decency, closed to reason, and unfit to discern the right and the true? We're going to end our discussion of the Stoics by talking about Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius is sort of pretty fascinating. Like many of the other Roman emperors, he was adopted into becoming the emperor. He's not born into it, but his characteristics made him quite desirable for this. He was a scholar as well as a warrior. He was trained in both. He wrestled in boxing. Even though I will say his constitution he was sickly quite often, but he was trained as a warrior. His family was extremely wealthy. but they were construction builder wealthy, not banker wealthy. So I'm not sure, again, who Seneca versus Marcus Aurelius, who's wealthier, don't know. But his mom and her family had quite a lot of money. He endured many hardships, plagues, floods, children's deaths, and he wrote this book called To Himself, or what we call the Meditations now. And he really did. He's just journaling to himself. So he's journaling to himself to guide himself in being a better person in a day-to-day way. So we're going to give him meditative guard. So we're going to give him a +2 resistance to inner turmoil. Here I want you to look at, we have a statue of what he looked like, apparently relative. We have lots of statues of Marcus Aurelius left over. And the reason we have is you can look at the extent at 180 CE. You can look at the extent of the Roman world, the Roman Empire at that time, and it's pretty much every area around the Mediterranean, plus part of Great Britain, and up into the continent of Europe. Okay, so Marcus Aurelius is known, we can think of Machiavelli's description of the 5 great emperors, and Marcus Aurelius is one of them. He was known for his magnanimity, so his generosity of spirit, his leadership, his wisdom. We got a -1 in his constitution because he had a lot of problems with sickness and being bedbound. But we'll give him +1 for strength for his years of wrestling and boxing. I will say, unfortunately for him and the rest of the Roman Empire, he had a bad son, and that son he made the next emperor. So that's just a little bit about Marcus Aurelius. I'm just going to say, do yourself a favor, read the Meditations. Whereas Seneca focuses quite a lot on emotions and how to handle them, and Epictetus deals with quite a lot of different things, but really conceptualization of what is and what should be, right? Modal imagination versus reality. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations really focus on how to be good socially. And this makes sense because he's the emperor of the Roman world for much of his life. And he's in charge of, so many decisions. So we're going to practice our exercises on how not to judge people morally. And these comes from Marcus Aurelius. Okay, so these are some of the habits of mind that he accrued and he reminded himself of in his Meditations in order to be a better emperor and a better person. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my getting to my thing. Okay, there we go. So, recognize all bad acts are from not knowing what is truly good. Okay, so let's start there. This runs very deep in Greek tradition. The idea is the reason that people make mistakes is not because they are knowingly choosing the bad, but they don't know what is good. So the Roman Stoics following the Greeks, and the Greek Stoics in particular, recognize that if they really did know better, they wouldn't do it. I want you to think about it like, okay, let's say that I smoke cigarettes, okay? And tobacco is bad for me. And I know tobacco is bad for me, but I don't know tobacco is bad for me. If I knew tobacco was bad for me, I wouldn't be engaging in smoking. Okay, so just like that, there's a distinction between even propositionally knowing, I know that smoking is bad for me, and experientially knowing, understanding in a cognitive, emotional, and behavioral way, an experiencing way, that it's bad for me. So just like that, a kid could be learning how to become a better person, and they could be stealing things. Now they know stealing is bad, but they don't experience stealing as bad yet. So just like that, recognizing that many people are in different stages, all people are in different stages of moral development, and they have different moral capacities and ways of behaving and ways of responding reactively instead of rationally and reflectively. So now that we understand that, to recognize all bad acts are from not knowing what is truly good, you can't get mad at a person for being where they are in development. Okay, you can be mad for a second, recognize that it's because you value good development, and then let it go. Recognize, start with yourself. Recognize you yourself are flawed, okay? And that you are human, and humans are bound for the good even if we do wrong. So recognizing from ourselves that we ourselves are flawed prevent us from judging others as flawed. Recognizing that we ourselves do wrong prevents ourselves from judging others for doing wrong. Recognize that one does not even understand if a person's doing wrong or not. A man must learn a great deal to enable him to pass a correct judgment on another man's acts. So thinking of Aurelius's words. Okay. If I go over to correct the kid, okay, let's say you have two kids fighting. One hits another with a book. The one who hits the other with a book is a bigger kid. If I walked over and reactively took the book and hit that kid with a book, okay, the bigger kid did the exact same thing to the kid that the kid did to the other kid, okay, and you watch this from the outside, then it would look the same that just an older person, a bigger person, is hitting a littler person as the other one did, regardless of the motivations. So now let's think about the motivations of the big kid hitting the little kid, okay? If I am outside judging it, I can't see that motivation. I can't understand what's happening. What if the reason the kid did that is he did it very lightly, it might have looked hurtful, but it wasn't, and it was to kill a fly. I'm not saying killing a fly is a good thing, but I'm trying to account for what the internality is that the externality does not convey. So if we are in the real world, which we are, and we're seeing things occur, we are often making poor judgments, saying, oh, that's good or oh, that's bad, because we don't have enough information to be able to make good judgments. So recognize that you really almost never have the level of comprehension about what's really going on that you would need to make a judgment in the first place. Consider when you're upset that man's life is only a moment, and after a short time, we're all laid out dead. Okay, so the Stoics want you to look at life as a gift. Okay, I'm gonna read from the Enchiridion for a second. Sorry, I'm trying to. I apologize. I have asthma and it rears its ugly head, and then I can't figure out what way to stop this or pause this. So hopefully we're back to the recording. Okay. So here I'm going to read from the Enchiridion instead of the Emperor Marcus Aurelius's wise words. If you wish your children and your wife and your friends to live forever, you are stupid. For you wish to be in control of things which you cannot. You wish for things that belong to others to be your own. So likewise, if you wish your servant to be without fault, you're a fool. If you wish vice not to be vice, but something else. But if you wish to have your wishes, your desires undisappointed, this is in your control. Exercise, therefore, what is in your control. He is the master of every other person who is able to confer or remove whatever that person wishes either to have or to avoid. Whoever then would be free, let him wish nothing. Let him decline nothing, which depends on others, else he must necessarily be a slave. So Your life is but a moment, so are the lives of your loved ones. You have to accept this and move forward. Even the worst things about life are the things you must most accept. Okay? Think about the fact that life is short every time you go to do anything. This will keep you grateful and bound to the real difficulties of life. Consider how much more pain is brought on us by the anger and vexation caused by such acts than by the acts themselves. Bad things happen, but they are made worse by anger, hostility, and aggression, and all the things that follow from it. So again, Marcus Aurelius is reminding us to focus on the common humanity and on the goodness of the world instead of on the bad. Consider that a genuine good disposition is invincible. Nobody can put you in a bad mood. You have to put you in a bad mood. Okay? People can make fun of you. People make fun of people. People can step on your toes. People make mistakes. So for each thing that you could react poorly or angrily or with sadness or with grief or negatively, instead of conceptualizing the world as being about you and about your feelings, if you conceptualize yourself as in the world adjusting to the way the world is, then your disposition is invincible. Here is my favorite, and I believe it's number 8 in the Enchiridion. In a way to work towards mental tranquility, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. So I'm going to repeat this. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen. So I want you to think about this. What things would a Stoic do? What would a Stoic not do? Would a Stoic listen to complaints or would he not listen to complaints? Would he sleep in a rough coat or not? Would he dramatize his own life, his or her own life? Would he complain, be a Karen or a Darren, a male Karen to others? Spend his reign feasting and ignoring his citizens? And run to the hills when a plague hits. So what do you think? You can use Emperor Marcus Aurelius's life as a guide. And if you're curious about Aurelius, look him up. I've left a lot about him out.